So a short plane flight, this one going over to Indianapolis. Do you even take a plane? I would imagine. I don't know. Do you guys take a plane?
Yeah. I mean, we took a plane to Green Bay.
Oh my God, you guys are so spoiled.
Good blocking on the perimeter, and that opens it up for Tyler Scott.
The Chicago Bears are 1-1 on the season, 1-1, which is the exact record that a lot of you predicted them to be. So let's not get out of control. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. Great opportunity this week to play the Indianapolis Colts. We're going to break that down in just a moment with Tyler Scott. But first, I want to let everybody know that the world's largest sports book in Las Vegas is right at your fingertips in Illinois. The Circa Sports app is sports betting the way it should be. Bet anywhere in Illinois and experience high betting limits, better moneyline splits, more in-game betting, and the world's best customer service. Download your new bookie today. Visit circasports.com and start betting like a pro from anywhere in Illinois. And if you or someone you know has a gambling problem, please call 1-800-GAMBLER or text ILGAMB to 833-234. All right. Want to thank everybody for being here. The Chicago Bears, listen, did it go perfectly on Sunday night? It did not, but I still contend that the Bears are on the right trajectory. And here to talk about it right now is the man of the hour himself, Tyler Scott. Tyler, how are we living right now? How's everything going?
Going good. It's going good, man. It's a Wednesday now, so coming back from a loss, usually we have a 24-hour rule. And, after that 24-hour rule, we move on to the next one. And so, it was a great day today preparing for Indianapolis. So excited for this week.
We heard Matt Eberflus talk on Wednesday, talking about the offensive line. And, listen, you're in Chicago. You know what people are saying. You hear, you probably can't help but hear it. And the offensive line has been vilified. But Coach Eberflus comes out and says, listen, we're not going to make any change. How does that get taken in the locker room? Is that a thing of like, it feels like the coach has your back and like, listen, we're all in this together? Is it that kind of feeling when he says things like that?
Sure, I think you could take it that way. I think he also used the word like continuity, something
continuity.
Continuity. Something along those lines. And so, I think that's important. When you have a group of guys that are trying to work and build something together. It's hard to build chemistry, within the offensive line and things of that nature when, you're constantly moving pieces and, you got, different faces, different voices, different body types and different play styles. And so, I think just being able to, kind of go through those struggles together will ultimately help you, grow together. So then once it actually clicks, you have that chemistry, but it's hard to develop that when, you're constantly moving around and, having to learn different things.
What was the feeling in the building like when you got there on Wednesday? Now, obviously, you talked about the 24-hour rule, but how is this team at putting things behind them? Because obviously, we got a glimpse of the team and the chemistry and everything like that through Hard Knocks. So it feels like a great group of guys. Are you guys still like, okay, we're okay? Like it's 1-1. It's not the end of the world. Or how was the feeling at Hallis Hall on Wednesday?
No, definitely. It's game 2 of the season, and we're growing as an offense. Our defense looks great, special teams looks phenomenal, and it's just like, man, if we score like 24 points in a game, then we're gonna win pretty much every game. It's like we gotta score 1 touchdown. It feels like to just win the game, and so offense, like I said, we're just working through things, and as a team, I think the biggest thing from both these first 2 games that Kevin Byard really touched on is just the team aspect. You know what I'm saying? You win and lose as a team, as a whole unit. And obviously, reporters and things of that nature, media wants to point fingers at, this or that or, all these different things. But at the end of the day, it's the ultimate team game, and it takes all 11 guys on, each phase for things to execute.
Yeah, I got made fun of for this, and but I will tell you anyways. When you guys got the ball back with 2 minutes, less than 2 minutes, whatever the clock was at that point, and Caleb makes the big throw to Roma Dunze, I was sitting there thinking to myself, oh my God, like as bad as this has been, We're going to go on. Now we're back to we again. A moment ago you were they, but now we're we again. Like, we're going to pull this off. And then I thought to myself of how much of a menace I was going to be to people because I was going to let everybody know about it. But at the same time, what was the feeling like? Is there something? Because, like, I don't know. And I know we had a couple of viewers on our previous shows this week. Like, how did you think you were going to? I'm like, I don't know. I just get caught up in the moment. Like, when you're on the field and you see that big play, are you like, oh my gosh, I think we're going to do this?
No, definitely. I mean, as long as there's time on the clock, I mean, you always got a chance. We go down, we stop them. You know, Cairo, he kicks a field goal, put us within, 6. Like, dude, we're a touchdown away from tying and then winning this game. In a game, honestly, it looked like, against a team like that, a playoff caliber team, is like we had no business, being in the game, and just overall how the game seemed like it was going. And with 2 minutes left, we found ourselves down 6 points, with the ball in our hands, with an opportunity to go up. And so, I mean, you definitely have faith as long as there's time on the clock. There's always a chance. So, you never, I guess unless you're just super blown out, but this is the NFL. It's the NFL, and there's always an opportunity and always a chance.
Yeah, I mean, I've been around for a few years there, Tyler. So I've lived through a lot of things, and I've seen plenty of games where teams, it's not been your night, and you're like, this is just not working out for us. Then all of a sudden, it just takes one thing to spring it. You pull victories from the jaws of defeat. And even this Bears team, like back in the day, like that used to be one of the things. And I was like, I think that's what I was hoping for, is like, because we saw it in week 1, like even in week 1, like, might not have been the best game, but still found a way to win. And then here we are. So what is that? What was the plane ride like? Do you focus on that when you're riding back on the plane? Or do you think of like some of the other things that go wrong where you're like, oh, if we would have just done this? Or was it like, hey, we actually had a chance to win? It's not as bad as you think it is.
All of it. I think you look at it and you're thinking all those different things, man. Think about the bad things, man. What went wrong? What were you seeing? And what did it feel like? And then you're looking at, oh, man, like we had an opportunity, man. Like, dude, if we score, one more touchdown, in that game, it's a different. We're feeling different on this plane ride.
Yeah.
If Kyler Gordon, if that interception, he catches it down, in their territory. Where it's just like so you definitely think about those things throughout a plane ride, and you got time to think, especially with a long plane ride back from Houston. We didn't get into I think we got back at like 4 a.m. But you got time to think and to sleep on different things. So you're experiencing all different types of emotions while trying to just kind of compress and settle down from mentally from the game.
Yeah. Well, do you guys fly into Midway or O'Hare?
I'm not sure. It's like I'm not even sure. It's not like a public. It's not like, I don't think it's like a public.
Is it a private one? Oh, you guys have your own private airport? Like, okay, I'm sure people are watching this and they're like, oh, it's this place. No, I'm always fascinated because I always fly into O'Hare, or not O'Hare, excuse me. I always fly into Midway, and it always feels like I'm flying through somebody's living room. Like, it's just right, like neighborhood airport. Yeah. Like, it's the craziest thing. Like, I made eye contact with a person working a barbecue one time when we were flying in the last time I was in Chicago. So a short plane flight, this one, going over to Indianapolis. Do you even take a plane? I would imagine. I don't know. Do you guys take a plane?
Yeah, I mean, we took a plane to Green Bay.
Oh my God, you guys are so spoiled.
I mean, it was a little plane. It was a little plane, but
maybe in a Cessna plane. No, I'm just
up and down plane ride. But yeah, no,
it doesn't even level off. It's just like one of those things, like flying from LA to Orange County or something crazy like that. But going to Indianapolis, and without giving too much away, I look at the Colts, and I spent some time on Tuesday night rewatching the game against the Green Bay Packers and noticing some things. I'm sure the coaches obviously see this too. What is the philosophy going into week 3 against the Colts? Is there like a more, again, I don't want to go too deep into the playbook or anything like that, but are there some things where you're like, I think that we can take care of, or we could do some things against this team? Because I think there's some opportunities for this team, especially to run the ball. Has it been preached like we need to run the ball, we need to control the clock, or anything like that?
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely things that you see, especially coming from, last game, you got a team like Green Bay who runs a similar style offense as us. They kind of
Yeah.
come from the same branch of Shane and LaFleur and all those guys. They kind of come from that same kind of branch of offense. And so, seeing kind of, what was opening up, against the Colts, and especially like too with their defense, they have a specific type of defense that I think it's Gus. Can't remember his last name. The defensive coordinator,
Gus Bradley. Yeah.
Yeah, Gus Bradley. He has like a certain type of defense that he likes to run, and it's kind of universal. It's like understanding like how it works. We kind of actually seen it during our joint practice last year.
Mm-hmm.
With the Colts, and so we prepared for it that week, and kind of understanding like what was this defense like. Now obviously you have a different offensive coordinator and some new faces and things of that nature, but guys who were here already have kind of like a little bit of familiarity of kind of what goes down in that defense. But yeah, I think there's definitely things you can take away, especially from this last game, that we could definitely take advantage of.
Yeah, I noticed too, a lot of the formations, especially the one the Packers started off with, was very similar to a formation with three in the backfield that you did in either week 1 or week 2. So I'm like, I noticed. I'm like, okay, I see what they're doing. So that's
yeah. Green Bay runs a similar type style offense. Like I said, kind of come from the same like kind of coaching tree as far as that. So verbiage and things may be different, but kind of like a similar base, so to speak. So.
And speaking of coaching trees, obviously Matt Eberflus was the defensive coordinator of the Indianapolis Colts. Has he talked about that at all? Do you guys talk about that at all? Do you guys even care? Because I love to run around and be like, it's the Matt Eberflus revenge game, although he has no reason for revenge because the Colts allowed him to go interview for a head coaching job in Chicago, which he took. So there's really it's not a perfect true revenge game. It's not like Baker Mayfield playing the Browns or anything like that. But at the same time, do you guys want to beat the coach's former team?
I mean, of course.
I mean, obviously you want to win. But I mean, like, is there an extra thing? Like, do this for the Flus.
I mean, I don't think it's any of that. I think maybe personally for him, going back to, kind of where he was, his last at his former team, I think there might be a little, something for him. But he hasn't like voiced that or made it any, much of a bigger deal as that. For him, he kind of always says like this is a nameless, faceless opponent. So he doesn't really kind of tie into like, oh, well, I got a little something here, or this player has a little something there. It's just kind of like, this is another opponent, another opportunity to go and, put Chicago football, on display.
Don't listen to him. Go in there and beat his former team. I don't want to hear this. And again, there's no reason for animosity because it's not like they ran him off or anything like that. And I still hate the Colts because of the Super Bowl a number of years ago. I still hold that grudge. Like I was sitting there and I pulled a Peyton Manning card the other day and I'm like, I'm out. I don't want this thing in my life. And speaking of trading cards, at Windy City Sports Cards, they specialize in buying and selling all things related to Chicago sports. Whether you are a diehard fan of the Bears, Bulls, Cubs, White Sox, Blackhawks, or Sky, they've got you covered with an extensive collection of sports memorabilia and collectibles. In addition, their Chicago-focused items, they also offer a vast collection of sports trading cards and memorabilia from your favorite teams and players. And of course, we had the Windy City Sports guys on last week talking about some cards. We got to get you some of your cards. They've been pulling you've never pulled your own rookie. They've got yours. So we've got to get you kind of connected. Who do you like to collect? Like if you were to collect, like when you're obviously a card guy, who's the one guy that you're like, you know what? I want this guy's cards right now.
You talking any sport?
Any sport, anything like that.
Man, I wouldn't say it's just one particular guy, but I do like I like Shohei Ohtani.
Okay, of course you would.
Yeah, love Shohei. I try to hop on him early. I think he'll probably be the greatest.
What do you mean hop on him early? Was this 3 years ago or just now? Did you pretend he didn't play for another team?
No,
6 months ago.
Couple years ago. Years ago when he was kind of first hitting the scene. Well, I mean, he really hit the scene back in, when he was a rookie, 2017. And then, but yeah, I try to hop on him before, he really got, to his peak, so to speak.
My daughter will give you all of our Shohei Ohtani cards. She's trying to get rid of them. And I'm like, no, like we're Angel fans. So she's like, I got to get rid of these. Like, there used to be like a ton of, like, if I move this camera, there's a bunch of Angel bobbleheads over there. Those used to be primarily Shohei Ohtani and Mike Trout, and she moved out all the Ohtanis. And she
Man.
wanted to get rid of the sports cards, and I'm like, no, we're not doing that. But
Yeah, I regret. I kind of learned from my past mistakes because I had a childhood coach of mine who told me it was like 2011, 2010. When Mike Trout got drafted, and he told me, it was like, it's one guy that you need to keep, and he's like, I'm telling you, keep this guy, invest in this guy. It's like, it's Mike Trout.
yes.
So I ended up pulling a whole bunch of his rookie cards because at the time, like, obviously they were all on shelves and things of that nature. I was like 10 or 11. And I ended up pulling a whole bunch of them and ended up giving them all away. Or at least trading. I ended up trading them all away. I was a huge like Bryce Harper guy, Justin Verlander. Who else did I Roy Halladay, Steven Strasburg. Like I was trading away for guys like kind of like that. But yeah, no, I regret that. And so now I've kind of learned from my mistakes. So I'm looking into like Gunnar Henderson, Adley Rutschman. Who's going off? Bobby Witt. Some of the younger, up and coming talent. I'm trying to stay on top of. So I've invested heavily in the last kind of 2 or 3 classes. I know this is a football show, but since we've gotten
listen, I asked you the question. I was curious. I'm glad that, and one of these days we'll bring you on with the with Windy City Sports, and we'll talk about this, and we'll go into great length. What about, do you ever do you collect the football cards? Like, because I've pulled a bunch of Anthony Richardson in recent weeks. And now it's weird because we're going against him. So I don't want him this week. I'm like, I need to stop trying to break these boxes. What about Anthony Richardson? What do you see out of him? Now, obviously, you won't be on the field facing him per se. What kind of what does he do well, and what kind of problems does he present to the Chicago Bears this week?
Man, his arm strength is one thing that everyone knows about. He can throw it from anywhere, any platform, and just has a strength to get it out, to get it down there. And you've seen it over the past couple of weeks. You've seen it with my guy. He's on the Colts, but former Bearcat Alec Pierce. He had, he's been having a good start so far, and he's just a testament. And he what's the word I'm looking for? He complements, Anthony Richardson's arm strength. Having a guy 6'4" to go up and just throw it to. You know what I'm saying? So that definitely poses a problem. Obviously, his legs as well. He's able to run, very well. And then you have that kind of 1-2 combo with him and Jonathan Taylor. That can be tough to kind of weather. So, he definitely poses some issues for sure. I seen him live last year in joint practice. I walked away impressed. I'll be honest. I walked away after that joint practice like, man, this guy can be pretty good. If he puts it all together, he continues to work hard. I think this guy can, be pretty good and dangerous. So yeah.
And a good person too. That's the one thing that struck me when I was able to meet him. Good person, and I do like seeing Alec Pierce. Not to the point that I drafted a bunch of Michael Pittman in a fantasy league, and I'm like, you know what? Anthony Richardson's not looking at him. He's looking at Alec Pierce, and I blame you. I'm like, you know what? Of course, he's going for the Bearcat. I'm gonna let Tyler know about this because it's really upsetting to me. So obviously it'll be a test for the defense, but I think the defense has shown, the Bears defense has shown over the last couple of weeks that it's one of the best in the NFL, and done a really great job with adjustments and things like that, and making the adjustments. Like early in that game against the Tennessee Titans, Will Levis went down there, was able to get a drive going, got a touchdown to Chickaconquo on a pretty nice throw. Last week, it was C.J. Stroud and Nico Collins. You're like, okay, that was fine. But then again, in both second halves, the adjustments seemingly were made, and they figured out a way to get it done. What adjustments does the offense need to make to start getting a little bit more progress? Now, listen, I'm not expecting you to go out and score 45 points this week, but what are some of the goals? Like, what are the things that you're working for? Like when you go in there, obviously you want to win a game and everything like that. And you don't care how you win. But what kind of progressions do you want to see from the offense this week?
I think the first thing is a clean operation, from just lining up the snap count, realizing where the clock is at, getting the call in, from Shane, and then relaying it to Caleb, and Caleb relaying it to us, getting set, getting up to the line, giving Caleb an opportunity to see what's going on, getting those motions in so he can see, how's the defense rotating, how they shifting. Offensive line as well, they can see, okay, how's the defense rotating, how are they shifting, they can ID the mic, they can, get their checks in. So I think just a clean operation, not having, false starts and delayed games like we did last game, or we're getting behind the chains. And so it's like we're playing catch up. We ended up in long, 2nd and 12, 2nd and 13, 2nd and 15, 3rd and 12, 3rd and, just long situations. That all could have been, cleaned up, or could have been somewhat avoided with just having a clean operation on our side. So I think that's like the first thing is, going out there and just all being on one accord and on the same page, pre-snap. And then after that, just trying to, get some completions, whether it's, quick game, just taking advantage of, what the defense is, giving to us, understanding our opponent, and just getting the ball in our best players' hands and just executing and making plays.
And some of those things that you're talking about, is that remedied by just playing? I mean, let's be realistic. I mean, Caleb Williams has started 2 games in the NFL. He's, he played 50 snaps in the preseason. Is that just stuff that's going to come? He just needs to play football to go out there and kind of get that stuff going and get on the same page with everybody?
Yeah, for sure. You can't teach experience, especially in the NFL. It's a different level. It's not like college. And, I'm saying you're going to get, the best of the best. You're going against the best of the best guys, in the world. And so, the more you play, the easier this game gets, the more things slow down, the more you see things happen a lot faster. And the biggest difference is the anticipation. And, once that slows down, you can play with a lot more anticipation. The game will just come a lot easier to you.
And are you feeling good? Like, how are you feeling? Like, how is Tyler as a man? How are you doing? Are you okay? Everything all right?
Tyler as a man is always doing good, man. I'm always doing good. I'm blessed. You know what I'm saying? God's got me covered, and I'm always doing great, man. So,
And then how's our guy Caleb? Is he doing well too? Like I know the expectations are so high, and I think that sometimes it's really unfair because it's like people have lived through 30 years of or not really, because Cutler was good. But like they've lived through a generation of quarterback play that has not been up to expectations. So it's unfair to be expecting this team to be something like to be overnight. Like, is it, but how is everybody handling that right now? How's the mood? Is everything good?
Everything seems to be pretty good so far. Caleb is, he's always been a very, I guess, kind of just open guy. So, I mean, he still has that mentality. I don't see any heads down or, anything of that nature. I just think, as a fan base, you continue to lift, this team and, it's especially him. You just got to continue to lift him up. This is your quarterback, man. This is your guy. This is who we took in the first round, and this is who you want long-term to be your guy to lead this franchise, to lead the city to a Super Bowl. And so, as a young kid coming in with all the expectations, like as a fan base, you have to always continue to encourage and keep his head high. You know what I'm saying? Always show the love and support. Because I mean, what good is it if you bash the guy after 2 games into his first rookie season, and this is the guy you're expecting to be long term. So as a fan, if you love the game, if you love football, if you love your team, you don't want to don't always bash your team. Like, you should always support your team and always lift them up to the highest, to the fullest extent.
Yeah, I'm with you. Last week I was sitting there. They put out that little graphic from the NFL media of like who's picking who to win this game, and I think there's 10 or 12. It's either 10 or 12. It's an even number like that. I was the only one who had picked the Bears to win that game, which shocked me a little bit. I'm shocked too. Like this week, like there's people like not picking. I'm like, you guys are not picking the Bears in this one. I'm offended. I'm offended for you. So what I need you to do, I need you to let everybody know when you're out there at the Hallis Hall, you're like, Ranks got us. Like, I know that sometimes it doesn't always matter, but I got you this week, and you need to go out there and make me look good. Because I can't just keep putting myself out there and then you guys burn. No, not like that. But like, be like, Ranks got us. Let's go prove Rank right. I want that to be a rallying cry.
Listen, man, we hear you. We appreciate you. Like Mooney. I mean, Mooney, last year, like, you're known, man. Like,
yeah,
we hear what you got. We hear what you got going on. We hear your support, man. We hear everything. So
I know that when the TV hits, when it's 2:00 on Central Time and the NFL Network's playing in your facility or playing in your homes, you know that you got a friend out there letting everybody know that we're going to turn this around. And we're I honestly, like, I don't even feel like we need to turn it around. I think if anything, because everybody who is bashing the Bears this week, like, oh, look at this. I'm like, you guys all predicted the Bears to lose this game. We're 1-1, exactly where you thought we were going to be. How about you calm down, right?
Just calm down. Just calm down. Everybody relax. Everybody take a deep breath. So we got a lot of games, a lot of football to be played. We got a lot of great players, and it's like we just all need to relax for a minute. Let's calm down and just let the season play out.
All right, and you're feeling good and everything's you're good. You're confident in that. Like I don't want to be out here on a fool's errand. You feel confident?
Yes, I wouldn't say it if I didn't feel confident.
Don't just tell me what I want to hear. I want to know with your full chest that you're saying this. But listen, I sincerely, and this is the God's honest truth, I do think this is a very good chance for the Bears to get above 500 once again. A opportunity to go out there, maybe flex a little muscle in the run game. Like I'm not going to tell you to go give any ideas to Shane Waldron or anything, but like a little more 12 personnel, whatever. Listen, we'll do what you want to do. Like I'm not the coach.
You might be watching the show.
I'm not coaching the thing, but I'm just saying 12 personnel might help out. Mercedes Lewis is good in the run game. I don't know. That's just me. Don't want to put any ideas in anybody's head, but I do want to thank you for coming in. Listen, this is sincerely, it always means a lot. And I think it means a lot to the fans that you were here each and every week. And I know last Sunday did not go as you and I thought it. The rest of the world, you and I, did not go the way that we thought it was going to go. But listen, you came back here. We had a great conversation. I appreciate your openness. I appreciate the fact that you just start talking about Shohei Ohtani in front of my face like that. Whatever. I guess we're that good of friends, so I feel really good. But I feel great about this game, and I wish you the best of luck, and I hope you have a great game this week. And that's all I got for you.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it. It's always great coming on and talking to you, man.
All right, Tyler. Well, thanks so much. We will see you next week after a Bears victory. I am calling it right now. The Bears win this one, improve to 2-1, and we will be back here celebrating. Maybe I'll have a Shohei Ohtani card for you in any event. Thanks so much for being here. For Tyler, I'm Adam. Sammy, go ahead and play us out and bear down.
And that's a wrap. Hope you don't miss us too much until next time. Follow the Sick Podcast with Adam Rank on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Google Play, and Apple Podcast. Brought to you by Circa Sports Illinois.